I'm 92 years old. I've said that sentence out loud many times, to doctors, to strangers, to myself. It doesn't sound dramatic anymore, it just sounds final. At this age, something strange happens. You stop decorating the truth. You stop softening it so it's easier to swallow, because there's no point anymore. And before I leave, there's something I need to tell you. Not because I'm wise, not because I did things right, but because I waited too long to understand something you still have time to understand now. Most people believe their biggest enemy is failure. It's not. Failure hurts, but it teaches quickly. The real enemy is delay. Delay feels harmless, responsible even. I'll do it later. I'll slow down when things calm down. I'll be there when I have more time. Later becomes a habit, and habits quietly shape a life. I spent most of my years believing I was being patient. I told myself I was building something first, providing, preparing. I thought life would start once everything was in order, but life doesn't wait for order. It moves while you're busy planning. You see, nobody warns you about this. They don't tell you that time doesn't disappear in dramatic moments. It leaks, slowly, silently, one ordinary day at a time. Right now, if you're listening to me, you probably feel like this doesn't apply to you. You think, I'm still young enough. I still have options. I'll fix it later. That thought is comforting. I had it too, for decades. I believed there would always be another chance, another conversation, another visit, another moment to show up properly. I treated time like it was patient. It isn't. Time doesn't warn you when it's running out. It just stops offering opportunities. I want you to understand something clearly. You don't wake up one day and realize your life is gone. You realize it in fragments, in memories that suddenly feel heavier than they should, in moments you replay and think, that was it, that was the moment, and you didn't know it at the time. There's a reason older people talk about regret more than failure. Failure happens loudly, regret happens quietly. It shows up late at night, in empty rooms, in pauses between thoughts. It asks one question over and over: why did you wait? I used to believe waiting was the safe choice. I thought rushing was reckless, but waiting slowly became my default response to everything that mattered. I postponed joy. I postponed presence. I postponed being fully there, and I convinced myself I was doing the right thing. Let me be very honest with you. Most people don't lose their lives to tragedy. They lose them to routine, to being busy, to being tired, to being distracted, to believing there will be time later. I didn't realize what that belief was costing me until one completely ordinary day. Not a birthday, not a funeral, not a crisis, just a day that looked exactly like hundreds before it, a Tuesday. And that's where this really begins. It was a Tuesday. I remember that because nothing about it stood out. No special date, no warning signs, no sense that it would matter. Just a regular Tuesday that looked exactly like all the others. That's how these moments get you. They don't announce themselves. That morning it was raining, not the dramatic kind of rain you remember forever, just enough to make the sky gray, just enough to slow traffic, just enough to make everything feel slightly heavier. I stood by the window for a moment, watching people hurry past. I remember thinking, I don't have time for this weather today. I was already late in my own mind. My phone rang as I was reaching for my keys. I almost didn't answer it. I wish I hadn't been in such a hurry to leave. It was my son. He was still young then, old enough to notice when I wasn't around. Young enough to still believe there was always a reason. He didn't sound upset, just hopeful. He said, "Dad, are you coming today?" I remember exactly where I was standing by the door, my coat already on, my briefcase in my hand. I remember looking down at my watch. It felt important in that moment. I told myself I was making a rational decision. I said, "Not today, tomorrow, okay?" There was a pause. Not a dramatic pause, just a small silence on the line. Then he said, "Okay, that was it." No argument, no disappointment in his voice, just acceptance. That should have worried me, but it didn't. I hung up, stepped into the rain and let the day swallow me. Tomorrow came, and then another tomorrow. Work filled the space easily. Meetings, calls, problems that demanded immediate attention. Life is very good at giving you reasons to stay busy. Every now and then, a thought would cross my mind. I should spend more time with him. I told myself, I'll make it up to him. I believed that lie completely. Years passed quietly. That's another thing nobody warns you about. Time doesn't march forward loudly. It slips by while you're focused elsewhere. Then one day, I found myself sitting in a hospital waiting room. Different building, same feeling of being late. The chairs were uncomfortable. The lights too bright. There was a clock on the wall. I couldn't stop looking at it. I remember thinking how strange it was. All those years, I'd checked my watch to manage my time, and now time was managing me. When I finally went into the room, he looked smaller than I remembered, tired. There were things I wanted to say, things I had rehearsed in my head for years. None of them came out right. We talked about simple things. Safe things, weather, traffic, nothing that mattered. There are conversations you think you'll have one day. They don't arrive fully formed. They arrive when it's already late. As I sat there, something hit me with a force I wasn't prepared for. The moment I failed him wasn't this one. It wasn't the hospital. It wasn't the illness. It was that Tuesday, that ordinary Tuesday in the rain. That was the moment he needed me. Not for something big, not for advice, just for presence. And I chose tomorrow. I sat there realizing something that still tightens my chest when I think about it. He didn't stop asking because he stopped caring. He stopped asking because he learned who I was going to be. That realization doesn't arrive with noise. It arrives quietly, and once it does, it never leaves you. You don't forget the moments you weren't there. They follow you into old age, into silence. I would give anything to go back to that day, not to say something profound, not to fix everything, just to say, I'm coming, and actually mean it. But life doesn't let you revisit moments you dismissed as unimportant. It only lets you remember them clearly when it's too late. And that's the part that hurts the most. Not that I failed once, but that I didn't even realize it mattered. There's something you need to understand. I didn't lose my son in a single moment. I lost him slowly, in pieces, in small decisions that felt reasonable at the time. That's how life usually takes things from you. Not violently, quietly. For a long time, I blamed circumstances, work, stress, responsibilities. I told myself I did what I had to do. But here's the truth I avoided for years. Nothing forced me to choose tomorrow. I chose it. Waiting wasn't wisdom, it was fear. Fear of slowing down, fear of being present, fear of realizing what actually mattered. Waiting gave me an excuse to stay comfortable. At 92, comfort means very little. What remains is clarity, and clarity is ruthless. It shows you exactly where you traded life for convenience. You don't regret the things you tried and failed at. You regret the moments you were needed and weren't there. Those moments don't fade. They get louder when everything else goes quiet. I want you to hear this carefully. The most important moments of your life will not feel important when they're happening. They will look ordinary, inconvenient, poorly timed. That's how they disguise themselves. A child asking if you're coming, a friend calling just to talk, a moment where you could pause but choose not to. Those moments don't ask for much, just presence. And presence is what we postpone the most. Here's the lesson I learned too late. Your life is not built in the big decisions. It's built in the small ones you make without thinking. The ones you assume you'll have another chance to correct. You won't remember most of your busy days, but you will remember the days you didn't show up, You'll remember them clearly, with uncomfortable precision. If I could give you one piece of advice, just one, it wouldn't be to work less, or to be happier, or to chase your dreams. Those are easy things to say. This is harder, and more important. When someone chooses you, choose them back, not later. Not when it's convenient, now. Because one day you'll understand something painful. Some people stop asking not because they stopped caring, but because they learned not to expect you. And that realization will follow you into old age. If someone came to your mind while listening to this, don't analyze it, don't justify it. That's your cue. Call them, go see them, show up while it still feels ordinary. Because ordinary moments are the ones that become sacred later. I used to think life would slow down one day, that I'd finally have time to be present. Life doesn't slow down, it ends. Quietly. I'm 92 now. I don't need more time. I need fewer regrets. And if you listen to me at all, let it be for this. Don't wait to live the moments that are already asking for you. They won't wait back. I'm tired now. The noise fades eventually. What remains is what you chose to hear before the silence.